Hey up guys, it's Rory from Enlighten the Shadows here, and we are a men's mental health group that is out there to support and make a difference. Our heart in Enlighten the Shadows is to create media, mindfulness and mentoring in a way we can really impact men's lives so that we can see them transform and utterly be supported and poured out love upon their lives. So it's, even if men are just struggling with a bit of stress and anxiety, or across the spectrum, all the way to if they feel like they just want to end their life or be suicidal. So if that's you, if you feel like you have no reason to live anymore, or you just need a little bit of support, if you need some guidance about how to better your life, some of your mindsets and your strategies, we'll be honoured to have you on the journey with us. And you'll just say, welcome to the Brotherhood. We don't claim to have all the answers, but we are just here for you, extending that olive branch to see you flourish in your life. And we just say, have a go, give it a go. You never know what could happen. Have a great day. Cheers, guys.
Hey up everyone, welcome to Enlighten the Shadows. Today is episode 51. Last week we had Jonathan C all the way from the States. Jonathan bravely shared about his experiences losing his dad and how that impacts his mental health. He overcome anxiety and depression. Slightly controversial views, fellas, and any ladies watching today. Some people might not have liked that stance he came from, but that's exactly why I wanted to chat with Jonathan last week. He has some quality stuff. We really focus on his habits, pornography, weed, and a lot of gaming. So a lot of that stuff in excess that was really affecting his mental well-being. So check it out, guys, after this bad boy, because today we're going all over the world, baby. We've gone from the States and we're going west. We're not coming across to the UK. We're going all the way southwest. We're going to Bali in Asia. But he is not a local, so I'm not going to say his proper name because I don't think I could say it. So we're going to go by Kegs. Kegs, welcome, brother, to Enlighten the Shadows.
What's happening, bro? How are you?
Yeah, mate, I'm good. Bank holiday here, so a little bit sleepy. Had a nice little lie-in, and here we are. We're on the show, and it's good to have you on. I've had a pretty tough few weeks, mate, but I'm doing all right. What about yourself, mate? Is it popping off on your screen?
Sorry, mate, it cut off a wee second there. What was that?
Just saying, mate, we had a tough few weeks, but I'm doing good, and it's good to have you on here. What have you been this? It's bank holiday here, so over there, do they understand that, or is it just every day is a bank holiday?
Every day is a bank holiday, bro. But there actually is some sort of holiday on at the minute, because I'm not sure if it's like the same as bank holiday at home, but there's something going on because like there's a few things closed and that until Wednesday, so there is some sort of like holiday or something happening at the minute.
Yeah, man. So for our viewers, like you're obviously from Ireland. Are you from the Republic or in North?
I'm up north, so
yeah.
I'm from County Tyrone, which is like the very centre of like Northern Ireland.
Yeah, I got you, man. I've got a couple of boys that I know from uni. When I went out to the States for football, we had a lad from Strabane and a lad from
oh yeah, that's different for me.
Yeah, well, we had a lad from Newry. So the lad from Newry, Steve, I could understand Steve, but Gags, his name's Paul Gallagher. Gags, I had to like look into his mouth, like in a weird way, because I couldn't understand him for like 2 or 3 weeks, and then after the second or third time of him saying something, I'm like, yeah, all right, yeah.
That's literally me with all of my friends.
To be fair, yours isn't as strong.
I've been traveling for like 4 years, so I think I try to speak a lot slower. But if you like heard me having a conversation with one of my mates from home, you'd be like, "Are they speaking a different language?" Do you know what I mean?
So you've been traveling, you said 4 years. So how old are you now then?
24.
So you left home at 20 and just thought, "Sod it, I'm going."
Well, I actually started properly. Well, I started whenever I left school. So like my last A-level exam was that morning, and I got a one-way flight to Ayia Napa in Cyprus that evening. So like I worked away in the summers, but then I was in uni in Belfast like during the year for like a year and a half, and then I basically left all that there, and then I've been traveling more or less all year round since. That's probably, I'd say it's nearly 5 years now, isn't it? 4 years, I think. I properly all year round, if you know what I mean.
That's madness. Like living life on the edge.
Yeah, why not? Like, why not?
Is that something you've had since you were a young lad, like since you can remember, or is it a decision you made?
I feel like I've always I feel like I've always definitely wanted to travel. I think I've always just knew I wanted to travel. Like I remember when I was younger, my uncle would have traveled a lot, and then I would have like always said I wanted to go traveling, but then just sort of didn't do it. And then I think the universe sort of forced me to go. And then I wasn't intending, like this was never the plan, just to keep traveling. But then I just started doing it, and then I started meeting people who do it all year round, and then I started seeing all the different opportunities coming my way and how much I'm growing as a person whilst traveling. And I'm like, I just don't want to stop. So
Sick,
I love
man.
it.
I could tell like so authentically coming out of you, the joy like that it's real to you and you love it. Like you can tell you're actually like buzzing off it still. It's like 4 or 5 years on. That's quality, man. You said something just now. You said the universe was pushing me. I'm really curious, like, because I'm open-minded as anything. Enlighten is about just so many different avenues and equipping people, different areas of life, like. And so you said the universe pushes you. What does that mean to you? And like, can you describe to our viewers like what you're trying to say there? Because like some people are like, oh, what's he on about? The universe, like.
Oh, that's a very big question.
Straight in,
So
bro.
I'm now really spiritual. Growing up, my family were Catholics. I was raised a Catholic, but I came in the teenage years and I was like, this is a load of shite. Don't believe in anything. I was just like very closed-minded sort of, and I just was quite negative. And then it's only been the past sort of 2 years I sort of had like a spiritual awakening, and now I have like full faith. So the universe to me is sort of like, you could say it's the higher power, or I don't know, it's just something that's like something that's, I don't know, not above us. I can't explain it properly, but it's just something I believe in anyway. And I feel like everything happens for a reason, and I feel like the universe is responsible for everything happening for a reason. So I went traveling because I was sort of like rock bottom, and I just wanted to get away more or less. And that's sort of how I ended up here now.
Flipping it, and you got no family or mates. You just lone wolf. You just gone and made friends out there and that.
Although my family are all at home. My family are actually coming to visit me in Bali in July. So they are. But yeah, no, sort of a lot of the places I went on my own, yeah. But then once you start traveling, you then become friends with other people who travel. So then, like, say I lived in Ibiza in the summers, I'd make loads of friends in Ibiza. But then a lot of people who live in Ibiza in the summer then travel in the winter. So then you'd like, I moved to Mexico with people I knew from Ibiza. I moved to Miami with people I knew from Ibiza. But then I've came to Bali on my own, to be fair. But I also knew people in Bali because you know them through traveling, if you know what I mean.
Flipping out, it's like your own community all over.
Yeah. It's fun.
No, it's class, man. So just going back to that universe stuff, do you know like the vibe you get like in terms of that direction or even confirmations? How do you feel that? Is it like in your mind? Do you feel it in your gut? Like, do you hear audible voice? Like how does that work for you as well?
What, the universe?
Yeah.
So I sort of, it's really complex to sort of explain out loud. I think I understand it in my own head. Whenever I'm trying to explain, I'm like, right, let's try and make people understand this. Because even when I'm talking about it in my social media, obviously I've been doing a lot of work on the spirituality stuff, but then I'm like, I need to speak about it in a way that people can understand.
Of course.
But I just started like, so I started in Ibiza. My spiritual awakening happened in Ibiza, where I just had this overwhelming feeling of like happiness and joy and love, and I was like fully living in the present moment, and I just couldn't stop crying with like happiness. And I was like, what is going on here? Like, this is a crazy feeling. And then I think it was the first time in my life I started actually being myself, if that makes sense. Like, it was the first time I felt like comfortable to be myself and not care. So that happened, and then I started like seeing people on like social media and like listening to podcasts and stuff, and people would be talking about like personal development, personal growth, and it would all interlink with like spirituality and things like that. So then I just started learning more and more and more. And then whenever I went to Mexico last year, I started working with like plant medicines, so like ayahuasca and DMT and things like that. And they're like spiritual plant medicines. So then I definitely was like, right, there's definitely something more to this life. There's that, like, you can sort of see like spirits, and you can communicate with things like that. And there's just some sort of like higher power. That's what I felt from it anyway. So then after Mexico, I sort of lost touch with all my spiritual side. Like, I was I still trying to practice it, but I was like living in Ibiza and partying, and like I went home for Christmas, and just because in Ireland, like it's not really ever, it's who you surround yourself with too. So like there wasn't that many like spiritual people around me.
Yeah.
Then I came to Bali a few months ago, and everyone here is so spiritual, and there's so many spiritual practices. So I've been doing like breath works and meditations and sound healings and Reiki healings and like all of these like proper spiritual things. And like whenever you do the breath work, you can like communicate to like your higher power and things like that. So I don't know if this is like
no, don't say hesitation there. Like we on our channel, we've had stuff like that many episodes ago. We've got a professional vegan rugby league player, Anthony Mullally. We'll put it on the screen for people to just put in their brain for later. But I got to know him through Stevie Ward, who had a head injury at Leeds Rhinos. He was captain of that rugby league team, and then we had Anthony on because like he's completely like not part of your mold, and it's just about, you know, challenging your thinking and not just that mainstream way of life. And so he's an accredited breath. So it's called Oxygen Advantage, and ironically, the geezer who started Oxygen Advantage is Irish, Patrick McKeown, and is a.
Oh my god, I followed him yesterday.
This is proper weird.
I followed him yesterday.
It's all coming together, man. But yeah, so their stuff is really, really good. So we actually did on an episode like a down regulator and up regulator. So I'm more with you on the breath work.
But yeah, I love it. I didn't know what breathwork was before I came to Bali, and I just done it sort of accidentally. I was like, right, let's go do this. And I was like, what the fuck just happened? Because I literally met like my younger version of me, the one who was in like a lot of pain and like depression and shit. And like we worked through a lot of things, and he was saying to me how he's so proud of me and I'm living his dream and all this here. And it was just like, I was crying my eyes out, and I was like, how did I just do this from breathing? And then I've been doing breath work maybe a couple of times a week for the past maybe 2 months. And the way I see it now is in my spiritual journey, and this is from my perspective, I'm working towards becoming the best version of myself. And the best version of myself is the true, authentic version of me, which is who I was whenever I was born. But whenever you're born into this world where society and people tell you what you should do, what you shouldn't do, what you should like, what you should believe in. All of these things of other people's beliefs are coming into you, and that's turning you into this person that may not be who you actually are. So on this journey, you have to question everything. You have to be like, do I actually like this? Do I actually like this job that I'm doing? Do I actually believe in that? Like, am I believing in these things for me, or is it someone else's beliefs? You have to question absolutely everything in this planet and see what you actually believe in and what you actually like to do. Because the more you do that, the more you find out what your beliefs are, what you like, that's how you'll get closer to your true authentic self. And then, when was it? It was so on Thursday. This is like the most, you've got me at the right time, because yesterday evening was the best feeling that I've ever had in my entire existence, and it was through breath work. But it was like a working my way up towards it. So every breath work that I've done so far, I feel like, think of it like this, right? You're like pushing towards the destination of the best version of yourself, but you have all of these chains holding you back, and each individual chain is like a limiting belief, like a trauma, or different bad things that have happened in your life. But whenever you become aware of these things, like a limiting belief or like a trauma that happened in your past, or like you're holding like a grudge against someone who may have hurt you or something, when you become aware of it and then you sort of let it go and release it, that's one of the chains ripped off. So that's you one step closer to the best version of yourself. And I've been doing so much of that work recently. And then last night, I'll start with the meditation on Thursday. So on the meditation on Thursday, I was doing a really powerful meditation where I was going up all of my chakras. So I'm learning to do Reiki. And Reiki healing, for anyone who doesn't know, is like sort of movement of energy to align your chakras. Sort of, I don't know how to explain it properly, but I'm learning about it.
So good, man. We're all learning.
Chakra, and I just basically so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to share positive messages on my social media and like teach people what I'm actually learning myself, so that I can help as many people as I possibly can to become better versions of themselves as well. And whenever I've been doing it, I've been like doubting myself and things. So this was like, no, you actually are like helping people, and it's like I believed in it, and I was like crying. But when I got to my third eye, it was like closed, or like I could feel like a energy around it. And then I done this Kundalini activation process on Saturday, and they activate your Kundalini energy, which a Kundalini energy is your life force. It's not activated in everyone because it's so powerful, but you can activate it. And then it basically is like your creative power, your divine feminine energy and things like that. And then it was activated in me. And then last night I done this breath work, and in the breath work, I basically, my third eye opened, and then I just seen like these like butterflies, and I all day that day as well, I've been seeing white butterflies, and I've never noticed white butterflies before, and the entire day I was seeing white butterflies.
Like actual real ones around you?
No, real ones, yeah, real ones. And I was like, why am I seeing white butterflies? So I Googled it, and it was like, this is a sign you're undergoing a spiritual transformation. And I'm not even joking, that whole day I felt it, like I felt the energy in me. Yeah. And then in the breath work last night, I done it, seeing these white butterflies, and then next thing, everything just went silent. My entire body was vigorously vibrating, and I could feel every cell in my body. I could feel my entire body, and it was connected, and it was like vibrating with like love and joy, and it was like gratitude times a million. It was like way better than like an orgasm or anything out there. It was like the best feeling I've ever felt. And then some voice just came in and told me, it was like, this is what being you feels like. So if like it was sort of like what's the word? It was sort of like experiencing enlightenment in a way, but like I was maybe not to that level, but it was like that sort of, I don't know, it was a bit mad. I can't even speak about this right now.
It is. No, you despite how buzzing you must feel and everything the last 48 hours, you did explain it quite well, in my opinion. So what I liked is what you said at the start as well, that I find in life we think that a question is a threat, but actually a question is right. Like I don't know what generation you kind of come from. Like I'm 33, so I'm slightly older, but like it always seemed like when children ask a question, it's like, no, you don't ask questions. It's like a threat, or you've lost control as an adult. But I encourage questions, even like when I've worked with children, or even myself with my belief systems and everything. I think if you just accept and you're obedient to everything that's around you, you just become almost, it's like the Matrix. You're plugged in, and you're enslaved to the system. And I feel like a lot of what we're saying, and I think, our lives are quite different, but also they're quite similar. And because I actually am a Christian, and like, so that, I love Jesus, and some of the viewers know that I don't go on about in these episodes, but asking the question, is God real? Or, the self-enlightenment and all these things, like posing the question, it's not a threat. Like if it becomes a reality to you, it becomes a reality. You know what I'm saying? I just love that about you. Like you've gone from like again, we're so similar. You've gone from a young lad like I was, where you think it's all a load of bull crap. And then actually something happens where you're just curious, and the curiosity stirs up the question, and then you're like, oh shoot. And then, yeah, I love that, man. I love that. And I think for the viewers, like, I hope it stirs something in them, whatever direction that leads them, but just something greater that's in here and in here that can be unlocked. I think that's where we're getting at, isn't it? Especially like in the area of mental health. That's why we exist. It's like you're just enslaved. You're just a pawn on a chess game. You're not valued. You're just a pawn. It's like me and my missus having this chat. It's slightly off topic, but like we think that when we get a mortgage, right, that the house is ours, but like roughly 10 to 20% is yours. But then we're taxed for that house, but yet the bank are the ones who technically have paid for it and own it, but yet they don't get taxed for it. That's just an example of this life. Like we're just enslaved. So I think just any bit of freedom you can find in here and in here is so powerful.
100%. And like one of my biggest values in life is freedom. And like I realized that whenever I started traveling, and I was like, that's one of my biggest values in life. So I'm just gonna find any way I can to be free, because I just don't want to be enslaved in a way.
Yeah, well,
tattooed on me.
Mate, you're the antithesis of it from everything you're saying. You're like, shackles are falling off, man. But just in terms of like when you've got out there, because you're saying you're mid-20s now, so you're wearing a hat, which I find interesting, because I've gone on a journey. There it is. Oh my gosh, bro, it's coming through. So cheers, man. Thank you for that. So the viewers are like, oh, what's going on here? So the main reason why I got in touch was I was on social media, and I don't know how. It must have been because I was posting alopecia posts and hair loss. I think the hashtag was the hair loss. And for those who don't know, I'm going to get this out. Coming up on the screen right now. My late stepsister, she took her own life. She was an NHS doctor, and she had alopecia. So one of the main reasons, sadly, why we think that happened was her alopecia. Yeah, man. So run the Manchester Marathon last year, and then I shaved. So I put on a picture now. I shaved all my hair off, eyebrows and beard. And I think when the eyebrows went, it was like, oh man, this is tough. So yeah, man. Anyone who wants to donate, it's open till the end of the month. We've literally just passed 2 grand, which is the target. So that's sick. So we're buzzing about that. But yeah, man. So for you, like, when did you notice your hair like kind of receding, or?
So with me, my family have like genetically big foreheads, right? And whenever I was like, I can remember it so clearly. I remember I was like 12, and I obviously first went to secondary school, and I didn't know I had a big forehead. Like, you're a 12-year-old child, you don't think of things like that. And I went to secondary school. Obviously, I had a small body, but my head was big for my body. And then I got like I did get bullied quite a bit in like the first year of school because of my big head. And then I basically remember I moved school then till a different school, and then but by then I had grown my hair to cover my head. So I had I had this hairstyle, you know, like, what hairstyle is it? You know, like Justin Bieber's old hairstyle, like proper long. Yeah. So I had that for a while, and like I had just grown my hair like really long to cover it, and I had that for years and years and years. But from the age of like 12, 13, I was like using loads of hairspray and hair gel and loads of products. And I'd say that definitely did have an impact on maybe damaging it or losing it a bit earlier than what I should have maybe. But I do remember then maybe in my like late teens, early 20s, I was like getting really thin and it was receding really high up. I don't know if you can see, it was like way up there. But I was still covering it. Like, I was covering it quite well. Like, you wouldn't really notice. And then I seen a girl from my hometown, or like the same county as me, and she had alopecia, and she was using this root spray to cover in the spots of her alopecia. So I don't know if you know what root spray is.
I didn't, mate. I saw it on your video. It looked, mate, you had it on lockdown. I couldn't believe how good your systematic approach was. Yeah, the spray, you know, it's a bit of a pain in the arse, like, no doubt. I couldn't imagine what it's like for you, but.
So yeah, I was doing that for maybe, I don't even know how long, maybe a year or so. And I was like sort of spray painting my forehead and just had the fringe over the top of it. So what it done was it literally just covered like any gaps. So you couldn't see there was like a big gap to make my forehead look huge underneath. So just covered it and made it look a lot fuller, thick or whatever. Obviously that was a bit of effort, but then it sort of blew up on TikTok, and then it got like a lot of traction, and it was on the news in America and stuff. Like, it was on E! News in America on like this talk show. And it was on like Lad Bible and like Men's Health Australia and things like that. Like, it just went all over the place. And then that made me then get contacted by lots of like hair, what do you call them, hair replacement system companies.
Yeah.
So then I ended up going with a hair replacement system I got it done in November. So I had it for maybe like 3 months, and it is a really good job. If I would still have it if I stayed at home. So it is a lot of effort, don't get me wrong. So you have to like stick on this like wig on your head like every maybe 10 days or so, take it off, peel off all the glue and stick it on and stuff. But I noticed whenever I got sweaty and stuff, it would slide off my head. And I was like, that's not going to work if I go to Bali. Like,
or if you go to a concert or something, like, I think there was famously last month, it was an Arsenal fan who had one of them things. And like, when they were like, and they were like celebrating, it fell off. And then there was like, oh yeah, and this is why it's such a really important topic, like the balancing of the reality and a bit of banter, but like drawing the line, you know, because this guy like went, oh, he wants mate respect on Twitter. He was like, yeah, it was my wig or something like that, and it was like, you know, respecting him for it. But yeah, it proper like came off, and you think, oh man, it must be really like, I don't know, it just you feel quite embarrassed, I think, if that happened in a real big public setting.
Oh, if it happened in a public setting like that and you weren't like open about it, then it'd be really embarrassing. 100%. I would definitely, you feel it like 100%. Like, even when I first came to Bali, I remember I was wearing it just because I would literally just had the transplant, and I was just wearing it underneath the hat, and the hat was knocked off and the thing fell out. And like I obviously everyone already knew about it anyway because I posted all over my social media. But even in that split second, you do feel like, oh fuck, a wee bit of embarrassment. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so I had that for a while, and then obviously I just went and got a hair transplant whenever this company sort of reached out as well. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to Bali. I think it'll probably be the best option. But don't get me wrong, you get loads of abuse from people too, like on like
Really?
social media.
You serious?
Oh yes. Oh yeah, you get trolled daily. Like if you do TikTok,
No
then
way. Are you serious? I thought like you got mad encouragement for it.
oh yeah, you get best of both. Like you get, if the video goes big, you're guaranteed to get hate and trolling 100%. But it doesn't really affect me because it's something I'm open about. I don't really care. Like there's people who, I feel like people who troll and people who give people abuse online, like they've obviously got their own issues and they need to work on. Like if you're a happy person, you don't be going on social media thinking, oh, I'm going to give this random person shit. Do you know what I mean?
Oh my days, brother. You just blown them out of the water. That's all right, Nugget. That's so true. Like, how many people, like when you're a victim of abuse, like how many people have the maturity and the compassion to say, actually, there's a why behind the what, there's a why behind that behavior. Like they just must be broken themselves.
100%. Like whenever I first started getting trolled, I was like, what the hell, was pissing me off and stuff. And we sometimes have comebacks, but now the only time it ever annoys me is if I'm hungover. I'm like, fuck off. But then most of the time I'm like, oh, that person must be having a shit there. That person must be going through a lot of shit. And sometimes the people don't even realize that they have shit they need to work on. They just imagine sitting on a computer and giving people abuse online. Like I just feel sorry for them.
Mate, you're absolutely killing it. Oh, mate, I don't know how you do it because, like, I've got like a righteous anger in me sometimes. Like, I want justice, and I'm like, and I have to balance that with grace because of what I'm about as a person. So
yeah,
it's such a tricky subject, and I feel like, I don't know, perhaps sometimes when you kill people, you kill hate with love, don't you? And I feel like maybe in society, I don't know, maybe we could take that approach more, man, where we literally
100%. Spread as much good vibes as possible.
Right. Unreal. So that company you used, we need to big them up. So who's the company? What?
For the hair transplant?
Yeah.
So the hair transplant, I went with Now Hair Time. They're a company in Turkey, and I had loads of friends that went to them before, so that's why I was like, right, I'll definitely go with these guys. They look sick, and the results just looked incredible. I'm not even joking. Like I was overwhelmed at how professional, like the offices looked insane. I was like, this place knows what they're doing. Like it felt like you were in safe hands. And like they lift you in this big, unbelievable, pimped out car, bring you to this 5-star hotel. Like they proper look after you. Like
They
it's
get
a
a
sick
manicure
company.
and a pedicure as well.
I wish. No, they did look after you, like good scran and stuff too. If anyone actually does want to get a hair transplant, just message me on Instagram. I'll be able to give you any advice, and they also have given me a discount code as well. So if you want a hair transplant or consider, just drop me a message. Kegs97 on Insta. But yeah, it's coming all right now. Like I got it done nearly 3 months ago now, and I'm not like whenever I got it done, I was like, oh, it looks really good. But then you go through this period where it all falls out. So you get it done, but then all the transplanted hair has to fall out for it to be able to regrow. And that lasts 3 months. So I think I've still got a wee bit left of it still falling out. But when it falls out, like it really takes a hit on your confidence. Like I've basically been spending the past 3 months. I before I got it done, I had loads of confidence. Like I literally could go out on nights out and could like chat up whoever I want and stuff like that there. And then since I've had this done, like my confidence just was gone, like shattered. So I basically had to start from scratch to work on myself to grow love again for my physical appearance and grow love and confidence for myself. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I'm still currently working on. But yeah, like I said, I feel like everything happens for a reason. I feel like I needed to do that work again to know that I can be happy with not having things that, like if I had to lose my hair again or whatever, I'd be happy.
And just so they know, we weren't paid promotion of that hair loss people. So that was just me from the goodness of my heart, just so we don't get flagged, because YouTube is the police will be out. The police will be out. But no, you mentioned something really powerful there. Like it's learning to love yourself, like for who you are. But then actually, your hair is actually a big deal. It is part of who you are. So it's like it's going. No, I love myself despite of having hair or not, which is flipping it. I mean, if you get to that level, then you're doing good. But it's actually like, well, hold on a minute. Your hair is part of who you are. Like it grows within you and comes out, and it attaches. So I don't know how is that taking a lot of time? Have you had help and friends or mentoring, or is it just come from within? Like, how have you took on that task to get to that place of, I guess the first checkpoint is acceptance. Like, how did you get to that? Because like, I never knew that. I thought with hair transplant, it just goes in and then that's it. But it like, it's almost like a anticlimax and then it falls out. Like, can you talk us through that? How did you get to that acceptance and what you avenue?
I'd say I'm still working on it. However, for me, what works best and what I've done recently for myself is I have a therapist. So been working with therapists recently for a while. I go through phases. I have therapists at different points. Like I had therapists last year and then took a break. And I have one again. That definitely helps. Like I feel like everyone benefits from a therapist, whether you need help or not. I feel like everyone will benefit in their life from having a therapist personally. And then I also do like obviously my meditations and journaling and breath work and things like that there. And I try to be nice and compassionate to myself. Like being compassionate to yourself is so beneficial. Like I noticed before, whenever I say I'm hungover or something, I'd be a dick to myself, being like, just being nasty. And you have to become aware of this negative voice inside your head. And whenever you have awareness of the negative voice inside your head, so I try and separate my negative thoughts from myself. And I call the negative voice inside my head Charlie. So if Charlie comes in and he's like, you look fat, you look like you're ugly, you're shit, that person's not going to fancy you, you're lazy, you're useless, blah, blah, blah. If Charlie comes in trying to give you shit, I'd be like, right, Charlie, either fuck off, or I'd be like, right, thanks for your input, but I know that's not true, so just go away. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you sort of then prove to yourself why you're not that thing. And then, like, for example, I'm doing lots and lots of work on myself, but I'm also like having loads of business ideas and like business plans, and obviously I'm started doing content on social media, and I have all these ideas, and then Charlie would come in and be like, you're lazy, and then I would be like, I'm not gonna be able to do that because I'm lazy. And then, but the reason I thought I was lazy was because whenever I was like 14, I would have been lazy and my mum would have called me lazy. So then I have this limiting belief in my head that I'm lazy, but now it's overcoming this limiting belief to prove that I'm not. So then I won't have that belief anymore. So then I'd be like, right, I actually can go after the ideas and things that I want to do, and I actually can work hard at it because I can prove now that I'm not lazy, because I do get up, I do my morning routine, I do work hard. Do you know what I mean? It's just becoming aware of the negative voice and basically shutting it down.
Love that, man. I absolutely love that. I think as well, like, we're in a broken world, we're in a fallen world, and like, you know, you're gonna get subjected to false belief systems, and then that's why I love how you say you get therapy, because therapy is ultimately becoming aware of false belief systems that you have, and then being challenged on them, whether it's, you know, yourself or the therapist's actual open-ended questions, and then you have the revelation there and then. Like, I can't stress therapy enough to like anyone watching, and it's class to know that you've done it too, because I actually say we all need it. We all need therapy.
100%.
Yeah, it's just a wonderful thing, and if we can just like go through that, the hard work, because it requires work. It's taking your brain and your past hurts into a room with a stranger and laying it out ultimately. So yeah, man, thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it a lot. That's unreal. In terms of moving forward, like, you got business ideas, like, what is it? A spoiler alert? We're not allowed to know what it is, or what are you on with roughly?
I've got lots of ideas, to be fair. So I'm basically I have loads and loads and loads of ideas, and I'm just going to take it like one step at a time, one project at a time. And I just know that by me working on myself and working towards my goals, and I'm going after the things that I'm passionate about and going after the things that I love to do, then everything will just work out how it's meant to work out. Like, I trust that so much. At the minute, obviously, I do social media, and that's my main sort of thing at the minute. But I'm currently writing an ebook, sorry, on how to solo travel. And I'm also going to tie sort of mindset things into the how to solo travel book as well. I don't know what the name or anything's going to be, but I'm planning that at the minute. I'm hoping to have that out in the next couple of months, because my DMs are just crazy of people asking questions on how to solo travel. And I was like, right, this is what I love to do. I may as well give the people all the answers in the ebook. So I've the ideas for loads of travel sort of things, but then I also am obsessed with like the mindset and sort of like just becoming a better person. Like, I've just bought a life coaching course, so I'm gonna learn all about that there. And I don't know if I'll specifically do like one-on-one life coaching, but I'm gonna take all the knowledge from it. And I don't know what I'm gonna actually produce with that, but I'm definitely, mindset and wellness is something I definitely want to tap into 100%. I'm actually learning how to do Reiki in 2 weeks. Like, I'm doing a full-on like training thing, and then I'm going to learn how to do breathwork and be a breathwork coach as well. And I'd love to just be able to figure out how to tie all this together, and probably use online to be able to do all that.
Yeah, I think it sounds like what you're doing is drawing all the dots and connecting them, like overall well-being, mind, soul, spirit, and it's like a whole package, like a whole wellness. Like, you know, it's different avenues, different topics, tie them together. I think that would really be useful to like some fellas and women, if that's who you promote it to at the end of the day. I think that'd be really exciting for you. Yeah, man, wishing you all the best of that for sure. And I noticed you're doing a 50-day challenge, aren't you? What's that about? Tell our viewers about what the 50-day challenge is that you're doing.
I basically I seen this guy on TikTok doing it, and then I was like intrigued because he looked so productive. He looked like he had his shit together, and I was like, that looks class. And since I came to Bali, this is the first time in my life that I am able to get up early in the mornings, have a morning routine. I actually go to the gym every day and enjoy going to the gym. Like, before, I've never actually enjoyed going to the gym before. I've never actually knew what I was doing, sort of. And before, I would never have a morning routine. In my head, I had this limited belief: I'm not a morning person. I hate mornings. And I've being surrounded by all these productive people in Bali, I've sort of nailed. I get up at say 7:30, and I do my breath work straight away. I have a cold shower. Then I get on my bike. I leave my phone outside the room so that I don't go on my phone before I go to sleep, and I don't touch it. I would say, hands down, that has been a game changer for me. Not going on your phone for maybe the first hour or two after you wake up, because I don't know what it does. I don't know how it happens, but I notice every time I go on it within that hour or two, my mood for the whole day is lower than it usually would if I don't go on it. So that's a powerful thing that I want to try, and I want to do a bit more research on it as to why that is. But I'm telling a lot of people, like, just don't go on your phone in the morning when you first wake up, because it will make you feel worse. So yeah, I go to the cafe, have coffee, I do my journaling, my reading, and all that there before I come back, and then I would go on my phone, maybe check my messages, and then go to the gym. Then I seen this guy doing this challenge, and he was basically doing. So what the challenge is you have to do exercise for an hour a day. You have to eat healthy. You have to read 10 pages, and you have to put an hour towards like learning a new skill. You have to, what's the other thing? And you have to sort of document it all, whether that be journaling about it or like videoing it. And I was like wanting to do it for like a few weeks there, because like my life in Bali, I feel like I love, because before I was making TikToks and stuff, and like that's how I was like doing my social media, like making just random videos and stuff. But now, because my days are so productive, because I'm so active and working on myself, I don't have time to sit down and make loads and loads of random TikToks. So I was like, you know what, that if I record my day, that could be like the content. Plus, it'll hold me accountable for actually getting up, making my bed, doing the breath work, doing the reading, doing the journal. And because I have to record it, I actually have to do it. And it's forcing me, pushing me to do it, because everyone's watching me do it as well. But you know what I've actually noticed? It's actually really helping me build a habit. Like, I do these things. I'm starting to do these things without even being like, oh my god, right, I have to do this. Like, I'm starting to do this, and like it's proper habits now, and I'm really loving them. I've started reading the Atomic Habits there, which I would highly recommend to everyone.
Oh my gosh, what's going on? We're actually, I'm actually reading that right now, and I'm doing a 30-day challenge where I'm posting a really powerful part of the book on Enlightened Social on Insta particularly. And what I liked about it is it's 30 days, but it's not. As in, I will finish this book and I'm really enjoying it, but I'm not putting myself under the pressure. So there is good to have parameters to stick to, have the habit and the routine, but I just don't want to put myself under the pressure because then I'll feel like I failed. And I'm an avid competitor. Like I'm probably the most competitive person I know. And so if I like miss a day, I'll self-sabotage. So, but that book, brother, oh my gosh. I'm at page 44 and most pages just highlighted the granny out of them. Just freaking, there's green everywhere, brother. There's green.
I know that's one thing I'm trying to be cautious of as well, putting pressure on yourself, because if you're having a shit day, it's okay to not go to the gym. It's okay to sort of just take time for yourself and just chill out. Like, it's okay to do that if you are having a shit day, because we all have shit days. And I know for a fact in the next 40 or 50 days, whatever, I'm going to have shit days and I'm going to not want to have to do anything. So I'll just be honest and be like, right, I'm just having a shit day. Like I do try and be very transparent on my social media, and just like, if I'm having a shit day, I'll just let people know, because then people will relate and be like, oh, he's not frigging happy, positive all the time. Do you know what I mean? 'Cause we're not. We're human.
That's dangerous these days on social media. We see like that kind of like half the story. I wouldn't even say, some people call it fake, but it's not. It's just like half the story. It's like, actually, there's balance in everything. There's the yin and the yang. It's finding that sweet spot. And I think, if you go on a 50-day challenge, if you do it all and say you did it in 53 days, that's freaking class. That's an unreal achievement. I think it's just the key for me is like not quitting. You can't quit. Just don't quit. Like, you validate your feelings, accept that you've had a crap day, but then just try and restart the next day, because that's how you get in that little rut into it. Can you identify with that in any way? Or
Oh yeah, 100%. But one thing that I actually have picked up on, so on, like, it might have been my third day, I woke up really hungover and I was like not asked to do anything, but because I was only on my third day, I was like, fucking right, I have to do this. So I forced myself to do my breath work. I tried to read and tried to journal, doesn't really happen. But then I went to the gym, done a bit of exercise, and then got an ice bath. And I'm not even joking, for the rest of the day, I was in cloud nine again. I was just like, because I'd done the things were actually good for me, I actually made me feel so much better. So I was like, right, that's something I can actually take from that. Do you know what I mean?
You've mentioned cold showers and ice baths, so I know about that life. So, is it Wim Hof? How have you heard of it?
So, my mum does Wim Hof. Like, I do Wim Hof breathing every morning. As soon as I wake up, I do 11 minutes guided breathing. That's how I start my day every single day for the past maybe 3 weeks or something. But with the cold showers and the cold baths, like, obviously I have a few friends who've told me to do it and stuff before, and my therapist actually told me, because whenever I first came to Bali, I had really bad anxiety, and she was telling me to take ice baths and stuff. But for some reason, my pussy brain was like, didn't want me to do it. Like, there's something stopped me from doing it, because I was just like not wanting to do it. But then since I've started doing it, I fucking love it now. Like, it's like sort of like the worst and best part of your day in the one go, because like going into it's like, fuck this. But then when you're in there, and then after, like, I go into the ice bath for maybe like a couple of minutes. And then you leave the ice bath, and I'm driving home on my bike, and I can just feel my whole body and just feel unreal. Like, it makes you feel so good. So I'd highly recommend ice baths to everyone. Like, they're class.
Yeah, until the pussy brain kicks in, as you said.
Yeah.
I love that. I relate to that loads, because you're like, you like doing it. The key, I think, is that I do the deep breath work whilst doing it, so that I'm not, because you just want to go and like tense up and hold your breath in, and it's like, no, that's like the worst thing you could do.
I do the deep breath as well.
Yeah, man, it's class. Flipping out, mate.
Yeah, I love it. I put my head under the other day for the first time, and I was like, it actually, because it was the day I was hungover. My friend like forced me to put my head under, and I was like, because I had a headache, and it literally got rid of my headache. I was like, this is great.
Freaking horror. It's like a brain freeze, but just sucks all the crap out of your head.
I wanted to do it today, but my friend wasn't there, and I was like afraid in case like the door closed or something, because like the ice bath's like it's literally like a freezer. It looks like
a casket or something.
Yeah. I was like, I don't want to go under in case the door closes and top me.
Death by ice bath.
No, don't even say that.
Oh, brother. Oh, it's good. Wow, man. I thought we'd come on here talking about hair loss loads. We only talked about it for like 5-10 minutes. This has just been like class about the journey that you're on. I feel like me and you are on very similar journeys, but our heart's just to make the world a better place. But it has to start from home. I think it's Jordan Peterson, he said in his 12 Rules for Life about before you can change the world, get your house in order.
Oh, big time.
Yeah, it's such a valuable mandate to have in your life. And no, man, I appreciate everything you've been sharing. It's a freaking class nuggets, and just really excited for you, genuinely really excited for the journey that you're on, and you know, taking it a day at a time. It's great, man. So just to ask as well before we do close, we got to enlighten the shadows questions. So anyone who's watching this today, they'll be like, yeah, nice one, mate, you're traveling, you're in Bali, great, good for you. I'm just really struggling, I don't even want to be here anymore. Have you got any short piece of advice for them, you know, if they're feeling quite suicidal or anything like that?
I was at that point maybe a couple of years ago, and for me right now to compare how I was to then, like, it just shows that there always is hope and there always is faith. And to sort of, oh, I don't know, I was going like, I for me to see myself now as compared to how I was whenever I was like 19, it's just like, I can't believe I've got this far, but it just shows that there is hope. Like, if I can get to this, then anyone can. But I would say definitely try and speak to people, like therapists especially, like, definitely helped me through a lot. And even if you don't want to like talk to therapists, maybe start listening to like podcasts and audiobooks and things like that, because that helped me through so much, and that helped me learn a lot about myself, and it helped me change my mindset and my perspective on myself and my life and my relationships and everything. So just start doing small things like that. Yeah. Will definitely help you become like more positive in a way.
Yeah, definitely. No, that's sound advice, mate. At the end of the day, you know, they should be watching this one. Well, I hope they freaking are. No, we're only a tiny cog in the world. We just want to, you know, we always say if we save one bloke, it's just worth it, and we know we have. But the mission continues. Like, you know, there's too many suicides happening amongst men, and yeah, it's got to stop. So yeah, man. Guys, thank you. This has been episode 51 with Kegs, the unreal travelers in Bali. And so if his book comes out, which I'm sure it will in time, brother, we'll big it up. We'll share it. We'll get people reading it. And if honest, we'll probably try and target some of the uni students. That's like prime population there, because Nottingham, that's where I am. We got 2 unis. So yeah, man. Yeah, brother.
Yeah, thank you so much, mate.
It's been class. Yeah, and guys, make sure you follow Kegs. Give him a follow on Instagram, and then ours is at Enlighten the SH1. And yeah, if you've come across us the first time, say you like Kegs has promoted this chat, welcome. We love you. We appreciate you, whether you're a man or woman. Please share us. There's men out there in darkness. There's men that are hiding in the 4 walls of their mind. If we can get to them across the world, like on YouTube, then we are blessed and honored to do that. So if you could subscribe down just below this video on the screen, it will reach more people, getting more subscribers. So thank you for that. We're monetize the channel just quickly. All the proceeds go straight back into our pot. I have a full-time job, the boys in the team do. This goes to promotional adverts, merch, everything to get the message out there. So just wanted to make that clear to everyone. Our hearts is to serve primarily. All right. So yeah, guys, thank you for this. Kegs, some boy, thank you, guys.
Thank you.